Good morning. I'm Christian Latta, CPA, CBA President. Welcome to our July 17th, 2026 CBA meeting. I will now turn it over to Ms. Reed to establish a quorum.
Christian Latta,
Present.
Doug Aguilera,
Present.
Patricia Batchelor,
Here.
Nancy Dong,
Present.
Yanita Guzman,
Present.
Carrie Ann Farrell Hines,
Present.
Tony Lynn, Bruce Rafel,
Here.
Joseph Rosenbaum,
Here.
Teresa Thompson, Yen Tu,
Here.
Evangeline Ward,
Present.
and Abigail Zielinski.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Reed. The CBA's mission is to protect consumers by ensuring only qualified licensees practice public accountancy in accordance with established professional standards. This mission is derived from the statutory requirement that protection of the public shall be the highest priority for the California Board of Accountancy in exercising its licensing, regulatory, and disciplinary functions. Whenever the protection of the public is inconsistent with the other interests sought to be promoted, the protection of the public shall be paramount. At this time, I will turn it over to the Honorable Corin D. Wong, who will oversee the petition hearings.
Thank you, Madam President. Let's go ahead and go on the record. So we are on the record before the California Board of Department of Consumer Affairs, State of California, in the matter of the petition for reinstatement of Mark, M-A-R-K, Yoshiaki, Y-O-S-H-I-A-K, agency case number SI-2026-23, OAH number 2026-050546. My name's Corin Wong. I'm an administrative law judge with the Office of Administrative Hearings, and I've been assigned to preside over this matter with the board. To establish a quorum for the record, I'll ask that each member please kindly respond after his or her name is called. Madam President?
Present.
Mr. Vice President? Madam Secretary?
Here.
Ms. Dong?
Present.
Ms. Guzman? Ms. Farrell Hines?
Present.
Mr. Rafool?
Here.
Mr. Rosenbaum?
Here.
Ms. Thompson?
Here.
Ms. Tu?
Here.
Ms. Ward?
Present.
Ms. Zielinski?
Here.
Let the record reflect a quorum is present. Madam Court Reporter, do you wish to make your statutory statement at this time? Thank you. And next, if I could take the appearance of the Deputy Attorney General.
Good morning, Philip Arthur.
Good morning, Mr. Arthur. And sir, are you Mr. O'Hara? Okay, welcome. And just to remind you, there's a button on your microphones when you talk. If you just press that, perfect. Thank you. Mr. O'Hara, just in case you're not familiar with the procedure today, reinstatement. And so we're here today for the hearing on your petition. And hang on, I think they're bringing me another mic, so. Procedurally, what will happen is shortly, Mr. Arthur will introduce some procedural documents and provide a procedural summary of the history of your license and the prior discipline to orient the board about the matters being presented today. And then it will turn over to you to present any evidence you would like to present. And I did receive a packet, I believe from you, so we'll mark that and include that in the record. You'll also have the opportunity to provide any testimony you want. And then Mr. Arthur may have some questions. The board may also have some questions. Did you have any witnesses you wanted to call other than yourself?
Your Honor.
Okay. And so after you provide your evidence, if there's nothing else, then we'll take closing arguments from the parties. If Mr. Arthur has one, he'll provide his, and then you'll be able to provide yours. And then after that, the hearing will be concluded, and the board will deliberate after the hearing in closed session to reach a decision. So you won't receive a decision today, but you'll receive one sometime in the future. Do you have any questions at this time?
No questions at this time. Thank
Okay.
you.
And I'll invite you, if you have any questions during the hearing, please do not hesitate to ask. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. However, I cannot give you legal advice, but if you have any questions of any nature, I suggest you just go ahead and ask them. And of course, if it's one I could answer, I will go ahead and do so. If it's one that really seeks legal advice, I'll let you know that and explain I cannot answer the question, but there may be someone who can or who could point you in the right direction to find out that information. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. So Mr. Arthur, if you'd like to present your documents or your summary statement, whichever you'd like to do first.
Thank you. Just a brief statement that I'm appearing on behalf of the Attorney General in accordance with Government Code Section 11522. I'm here to assist the panel in fact-finding. My role is not adversarial, but is intended to protect the public interest. I'm here to ensure that the panel has adequate information from which to make a decision. In this case, Mr. O'Hara became a licensed certified public accountant on June 27th, 2008. Effective December 23rd, 2022, Mr. O'Hara's license was revoked in accordance with a default decision, which was based on an accusation that alleged that on October 12th, 2021, Mr. O'Hara was convicted of violating Penal Code Section 487, Subdivision B3, which was a felony. Mr. O'Hara's conviction was based on 3 incidents which occurred on September 2nd, 5th, and 13th of 2017. Mr. O'Hara now seeks reinstatement of his certified public accountant license. And then to go through the petition packet briefly, which I would like to mark as Exhibit 1. Exhibit 1 consists of the following documents. First is a memo from Carrie O'Connor to all the board members dated May 21st, 2026. It includes a redacted copy of the petition, a redacted copy of documents from Mr. O'Hara's criminal case, a personal statement from Mr. O'Hara, redacted copies of character reference letters from, and I apologize if I mispronounced the names, Amolfo Sanchez and Don Dixon. It includes 2 charts showing continuing education classes that Mr. O'Hara has completed. It includes the default decision from case number A as in Apple, C as in Charlie, 2022-28, as well as the underlying accusation. It includes Mr. O'Hara's license certification, 56 certificates of completion from Becker Professional Education, the notice for today's hearing, an email from Mr. O'Hara confirming his attendance at today's hearing, and finally, a redacted certified copy of Mr. O'Hara's criminal conviction records. I move to submit Exhibit 1 into evidence.
All right, those documents will be marked collectively as Exhibit 1. Mr. O'Hara, any objection to Exhibit 1 being admitted?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, 1 is so admitted. And just for the court reporter, the spelling of the one witness's name is A-R-N as in Nancy, U-L-F as in Frank, O. Last name is Sanchez, S-A-N-C-H-E-Z. All right. And then the second one was Don, D-O-N, Dixon, D-I-X-O-N. And Mr. Arthur, did you finish your statement?
I did, Your Honor.
Very
And,
good.
because the burden is on Mr. O'Hara, I have no further statement, but would reserve the right to question him.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, Mr. O'Hara, now's the opportunity to present your evidence. First, let's take care of your packet. So I want to make sure I have everything that should be. There's May 21st, 2026 memo from Carrie O'Connor, K-A-R-I, and then O apostrophe capital C-O-N-N-O-R, along with your petition. And I believe the documents that were submitted in with your petition. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And just to confirm, I have everything. Looks like it's a total of 126 pages. Does that match with what you have?
Yes, sir.
Very good. So let's go ahead and mark this as respondents packet. And that will be Exhibit A. And Mr. Arthur, any objection to Exhibit A being admitted? So A is admitted. All right, Mr. O'Hara, are there any other documents you wanted to have marked and admitted?
No.
Okay, would you like to testify at this time?
Yes.
Okay,
please.
I'll go ahead and swear you in if you would raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you will provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, thank you. You may put your hand down. So if you would start by stating and spelling your full name for the record, please.
Sure. First name is Mark, M-A-R-K. Middle name Yoshiaki, Y-O-S-H-I-A-K-I. Last name is Ohara, O-H-A-R-A.
Thank you. And one thing I forgot to mention in the when I was going over the procedure at the beginning is you heard Mr. Arthur give a summary of your license history, and he mentioned the prior discipline. So I just wanted to remind you that the discipline has been resolved, and so we're not here to relitigate the discipline. He discussed it in terms of just providing history, and you're certainly welcome to do the same. It also helps provide context to any rehabilitation you may have done, but just keep in mind what the board is most interested in hearing about is any rehabilitation that you've undergone since your license was revoked. So again, it may be, you may find it helpful or useful if you want to talk about the history to kind of give a starting point, if you will, but your main focus should be on the rehabilitation aspect. Do you have any questions about that?
I don't think so.
Okay, so whenever you're ready, you may begin.
Okay. Firstly, I'd just like to thank the board for taking the time to meet with me today. Oh. Thank you to the board for taking the time to meet with me today and reviewing my petition. Much of what I would speak to is included in the packet, including in my personal statement. What I would like to share or what I would like to highlight is the fact that the conviction, the misdemeanor, was expunged by the courts. Those documents are included in Exhibit A and confirmed, I believe it, in the CBA's exhibits as well. I believe that that was one of the first steps towards me trying to resolve the situation that I caused approximately 7 to 8 years ago. In addition to what's written here in the packet, what I would like to say is that when I committed the issue, when I created the issue for myself, something changed in me, and frankly, I have not been the same since. It's been something that has been weighing on me heavily. It's something that I can compartmentalize on most days, but it's ever present. Over the years that have passed, I've done my best to live my life in a positive manner since my misdemeanor conviction. I started a family. I'm now a father of an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old. Watching them grow up, trying to be a good father and teaching them right from wrong, it's been challenging for me because I feel the burden of the fact that I myself did something wrong. Yet I'm telling my own children or trying to teach them to be good citizens, to have good morals, and live correctly. And so every time I say that to them, there's a part of me that feels a bit like a hypocrite. And that's really what has led me to one, seeking the expungement, and secondly, coming before you today with a petition for reinstatement of my license. There's two aspects to the reason why I've come for the petition that I'd like to share. First is obviously the professional aspect. Without my CPA license and with it being in a revoked status, it has, of course, caused me significant concern and also issue as I've gone through my career. But I think that pales in comparison to the personal aspect. I do feel that this is for me, part of a journey of perhaps healing, perhaps trying to put myself back together after all of these years. And I'm also hoping that by doing so, I can be a better parent and a better father, somebody who can speak to my children about right or wrong, about second chances, and not feel like a hypocrite. As far as rehabilitation, I believe in the packet, we've got letters from my chief accounting officer and my former and now current CFO, who I've spent a lot of time being counseled by. And I think that there was always a part of me that felt that I never deserved my license back because of the mistakes that I made. And talking to them over the years, being able to share how I felt in my experiences, both of these individuals were very supportive and encouraged me to seek my license back. They reminded me that second chances can exist and that I shouldn't continue to punish myself for a mistake that I'd made. I don't know. I don't believe that I will ever be the same person that I was before I made those mistakes, but I'm hoping to recover at least part of myself. I'm not sure, Your Honor, if I'm intended to go through each page of the packet or if I can presume that the board has already seen and reviewed it. If you could perhaps advise me on how deep I should go
Sure.
in the materials.
Thank you for asking that question. That's another matter I forgot to mention is that the board has received both parties' packets, and have familiarized themselves with it. So it's not necessary to go over each page in detail, but similar to how you started it off by mentioning what you were going to say is mostly covered in the packet, but you wanted to highlight some things. That's a perfect way to explain the best way to proceed is to highlight any significant parts that you would like to, and then also then relying on the packet for more of the in-depth details, if you will.
Okay.
All right. Do you have more you would like to testify to?
I can go on for hours, so I think I'll stop
Oh.
there.
Okay, I understand. And we'll give Mr. Arthur to ask questions if he has any, and the board a chance if they have any, and then I'll come back to you again to see if anything else has come to mind. Mr. Arthur, cross-examination?
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. O'Hara. What have you learned since the revocation of your license that will assist you in not repeating the conduct described in the accusation?
I've learned how important my license was to me, how, starting my career in the Big Four, those 10 years all culminated in me earning that license. I think I took that for granted, and having lost it and having lived without it, it's hit me profoundly. It has impacted me profoundly.
So the accusation itself describes the criminal conduct. You understand that, right? That's a yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Just because we have a record,
Yep.
okay? So my question is, what have you learned since you lost your license that will assist you in not repeating the criminal conduct?
Primarily that repeating such a mistake would not repeating such a mistake just simply can't happen. The impact that I've had from the criminal conduct leading to my criminal record, the revocation of my license, those things have just opened my eyes to the fact that mistakes just can't happen. That there is no world in which I can repeat such behavior and live with myself. I'm not sure if I'm getting at your question or not, but I'm trying here.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you. So maybe this will be an easier way, or to get a little more information. What assurances could you offer to the board that you won't repeat the criminal conduct?
Other than my word, it would be to simply state that I want to be a good citizen of our community, and I think I've been doing that since. So other than saying that I promise I wouldn't do it again, which I feel are just words, I would like to point to my actions since.
If your petition is granted and your license is reinstated, there's a possibility that your license could be placed on certain probation terms. Would you be willing to comply with those probation terms if that occurred?
I would do whatever the board requires of me.
Regarding the accusation that was filed against you, why did you not contest it?
Because I felt that I'd made enough mistakes such that I wasn't in a position to contest it, that I should accept it, take responsibility, and try to find a way forward.
Regarding your petition packet itself, in your petition, you state that you have coached people at, and forgive me if I mispronounce these, DataStacks/IBM and Vectra.ai. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
What type of coaching have you provided to these people?
I've overseen the accounting organizations at both DataStacks before we were acquired by IBM and also now currently at Vectra. So my coaching includes technical accounting, general accounting, but also just coaching how to be good team members, how to act ethically when it comes to the work that we do, as far as raising your hand when you make a mistake instead of trying to hide them, being honest with our auditors. So across the board, just how to be good accountants.
And you currently work at DataStacks, correct?
Currently at Vectra, DataStacks was acquired by IBM.
Is Vectra AI aware of your criminal conviction?
Yes, they are.
Okay. And then regarding your criminal conviction, why did you, well, I'll withdraw that question. Your criminal conviction concerns the fact that you stole from your employer at the time, Google, correct?
That was the conviction, yes.
Why did you do that?
It was not my intention to steal from my employer, but ultimately, when I was terminated from my position, I did not handle it well from a life perspective. I struggled. Looking back on that now, I probably should have sought some assistance. It took me to a dark place. I didn't deal with the aftermath of that correctly. Had I simply just repaid the amounts, which was always the intention, it would never have led down that path. And so ultimately it was just my fault.
And then I wanted to follow up on a couple of statements you made during your testimony, okay?
Yes.
You mentioned that something has changed in you since the theft occurred at Google.
Correct.
What has changed in you?
I've always been, I was always raised to do the right thing. And I think that prior to um, my crime, I'll call it what it is, um, I'd never gotten into trouble before in my life. I would have viewed myself as a happy go lucky person, quiet confidence. Um, I lost all of that in that moment. Uh, I think ever since then, I've been wearing a mask to simulate confidence, to simulate um, happiness. Um, and I think that that's really what's changed inside of me is that the weight of what I did and what's out there as far as my record goes, it's all I can analogize it to is just it's like wearing a heavy weight around my neck and it's constantly there, and I deal with that every day. I think that that's really what's changed in me.
And then you also mentioned that currently, when you speak to your kids in certain circumstances, you kind of feel like a hypocrite, right?
I do.
If your petition is granted and your license is reinstated, how would that change your feeling as far as being a hypocrite when you're speaking with your children?
I don't know that it will, to be honest. I would like to think that with each step that I've taken towards trying to get back as much of myself and to try to earn some of that credibility back that I lost, even though I know that I will never be the same and that my credibility will never fully be resolved. I would like to think that over time and with each of these these steps of remediation, um, that I might not feel that way.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next, I'll turn it to the board to see if there are any questions. First, Madam President, do you have any questions?
No questions, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Vice President, any questions?
Yes, I do. Thanks for your time and appreciate all the work that you did to put this together and get in front of us. Looking back at frauds, what you would normally see is an opportunity and then rationalization as to why it was okay. And then a lot of times the need. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I kind of want to tease out, what the opportunity clearly that you had access to cash in some way, shape, or form. And today, from the letters, it sounds like you still have the opportunity and access to cash and financial resources. The rationalization, I'd like to know a little bit more about the rationalization, but also the need, sort of the circumstances that led to the fraud then, so that I can have a sense of when those circumstances arise in the future, what your response would be. Am I making sense?
I think I understand, sir.
Okay. And so maybe you can talk a little bit about the need and how you rationalized it.
Sure. I guess I'll start with saying that answering that question is difficult because it's something that I grapple with constantly, which is why. Why did I do that? I didn't do it because I had an urgent need. And I don't mean that to come off as an excuse, even though I get that it may. I can't rationalize it. The opportunity was there, and this may be oversharing, but it was related to a corporate credit card. And it was related to a corporate credit card. And I think it started off with an accidental charge, a personal charge going on the card, and it snowballed from there. And again, I hate saying this because it sounds like I'm trying to make an excuse, but I'm not. I fully own this. My intention all along was, okay, well, I'll liquidate some of the equity that I had and I will repay this amount. I'll pay the corporate card back. And I can't explain, well, if you had the ability to liquidate the equity, why would you have used the corporate card for personal use? I can't explain it.
Thank you. That's helpful context. And so then today in your position, if you charge something personal and next week it came to your attention, it was a mistake, let's say, and you see, oh, this was personal, what would your response be?
I would immediately raise that up and repay it immediately.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Nothing else.
All right. Any questions, Madam Secretary?
No questions, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Dong, any questions?
Yes, if our legal counsel can explain to someone like me without a legal background. Sure. Can you explain what expunged means? What happens and how does someone get an expungement?
Well, so they file, there are certain statutory requirements that have to be met. There has to be a certain amount of time has to have passed since the conviction occurred, and all criminal probation has to be successfully completed. Pretty much as long as those things are successfully done, one files a petition with the Superior Court, and the court then grants the expungement, which essentially means that they'll reduce. So in this case, it was a felony. They'll reduce the charge to a misdemeanor, and then they dismiss the case. So it's as if there's no record of the case. Except in very limited circumstances, and I know one of them is licensing with state agencies, that the record can still be accessed and considered. But for the vast majority of other circumstances, it's as if there's no conviction.
I'm sorry, can I just chime in here for a minute? I think, I'm sorry, I'm Board Counsel Christine Jacob. I think it's a little bit different. I don't think that it's as it never happened. I think it's just relief from the penalties of it. I think the conviction still stands. I don't think it's a dismissal of the claim like it never happened. It's just a reduction of, it's relief from the penalties, essentially.
So just to be clear, the criminal conviction stays on the record for the person who's getting the record.
Actually,
expunged.
to be clear, it is a dismissal and an expungement, so it's not on, it's, I think if I recall correctly, on the rap sheet, it will show the conviction, but then it will show the penal code section under which relief was granted, which is one of the 1203 sections. So it's 1203 point, and then there's a couple different ones. So it is a conviction, and more particularly for board's purposes, it is a conviction for disciplinary purposes as well. But again, discipline has already been established here, so it's really a moot point.
Well, I was just wondering if it just meant it was no longer seen as a crime, if it's now a misdemeanor.
I think the answer probably is depends who's looking at it. So different, it affects different situations differently. If that makes sense.
Okay.
Your Honor, may I clarify something? Is it okay? So the original charge was a felony, but when we went to court, it was reduced to a misdemeanor. So the conviction was a misdemeanor.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. That's great. My name is Ileana Butu. I am sort of backup counsel for Christine Jacob today. So there's a different penal code section to respond to your question to the board member is there's a different penal code section where you can get where it's more truly when you think of expungement, where it's really closer to being erased from your record as if it never happened.
but that's a different procedure than 1203.4. And this is 1203.4, where he got it expunged, is kind of like a, if you want to compare the two, it's like a dismissal light. It's dismissed and you get relief from, from the penalties, but it's still there under the Business and Professions Code, not only in the general provisions of the BMP Code, but also in the Accountancy Act. They're still considered convictions regardless under 1203.4. So regardless of the expungement, the board still gets to consider it. It did still happen, but it is looked on favorably to have gotten it expunged under 1203.4 for the petitioner.
Okay, so just one question for the petitioner. So I was looking through your Nancy Dong, and I was looking through your personal statement, and it said that you're looking to continue your work in finance and accounting, I believe. Why do you need your CPA for that? We spend a lot of time as a board talking about all the other kind of certifications and licenses you could get to do that kind of work. You could be a CFA, you could be a CTAC. Why do you need your CPA license to do the work that you currently do?
I love accounting. I love running accounting organizations. I primarily focus on mid to late stage pre-public companies who are starting to try to work towards being a best-in-class accounting team. I love team building. Given that I spent the first decade plus in Big Four where you work in teams, and I've always been an athlete prior to that, I love the team environment that comes along with accounting. And to further answer your question, I can provide an example of how it's hindered my growth, if that's okay, if I may. So at Vectra, we currently wrapped up our fiscal year 26 audit. Was, of course, a team effort, a massive effort. It was going to be a clean opinion, no audit adjustments. And at the nth minute, the audit team forgot that they needed to do a background check on me. And so, of course, when they did, this arose, and it caused them to have to put a pause on issuing their opinion. And they now have to take that back to their own risk advisory team and figure out how to deal with the fact that I have a license that's been revoked. And obviously, aside from the personal aspect of that, I feel terrible for the team because we killed ourselves to get through that audit. And because of where my license stands, we've had to put a pause on it for over a week now. So.
Let me get back to my page. All right, so Ms. Guzman, any questions? Ms. Farrell-Hines?
Yes, thank you for coming in to offer your testimony today. It's can be an intimidating, challenging situation to bring yourself into. Your letters of reference from your employer, they state that they attest to your character and their trust and confidence in you. To what extent have you talked with them about the details of what happened that led to your conviction? And given that it sounds like there's been a lot of mentoring and support that they've provided to you over the years, can you just talk a little bit about how that support has impacted you such that you may not find yourself, if you find yourself in a similar situation as what happened before, you wouldn't, react similarly. So does that make sense? I want to, hear how your current employer, because they don't talk about, what happened and how they see the change in you since your conviction. They just talk about sort of how you are right now. So can you talk a little bit about what they know about what happened and how they have supported you in your, growth or change since since the convictions occurred?
Yes, ma'am. So they are aware of the misdemeanor conviction. They're aware of the status of my CPA license. I've worked with both individuals since about the time when, um, so the criminal act that I committed was previous to me meeting these individuals. But it was soon thereafter that I started working with them. And so pretty quickly when they did their own background check, some of this popped up. And so I had a very candid discussion first with our chief accounting officer and essentially told him what had happened. At this point, this was probably during one of my darkest periods of time. I questioned whether I would ever have a job in accounting again. At that time, I had just had our first son. My life was, and that should be a happy thing. And don't get me wrong, having my son was a happy thing, but everything was overshadowed by the aftermath of the issues that I caused, right? And so at that time, I opened up and had a conversation with him, and he decided to give me a chance. And we've developed a very positive relationship since. And subsequent to that, when our CFO started at our company, further down that line, of course, the CEO had discussed it with the CFO to give him a heads up. And we didn't have as many conversations then. I think my relationship with him built over time. But he has been steadfast in his support. I think both individuals have really helped me the most by just reminding me that one incident doesn't define who I am, and that they do see the good in me, and they appreciate what I bring to the team. And I think that their words, their support, their continued employment of me, without that, I don't know where I would be today.
So I'll ask a follow-up question then. So it sounds like you have a really supportive work environment right now, and where you're able to be, provide positive contribution. If you receive your license, if your license is reinstated, I know you state that your intention is to continue performing the kind of work that you're doing now, but your license will allow you to go out into the public. You could decide you want to, change, track and, start, taking on clients out, in the, outside of the, private corporate environment you're in now. And so, what has happened or changed in you that being outside of what sounds like a pretty insular environment where you're practicing, and if you were to go into a public environment, that what safeguards are there? What have you learned, or what's maybe changed in you that can instill confidence in us that consumers in the public would not be at risk of you potentially, making a mistake in judgment?
And that's a very fair question. I call out two things. One is I now have a family to look after and who depend on me, two young children. I would never put them at risk. That's not something that I had when I committed the crime initially. Secondly, I refer back to the weight that has been hanging around my neck since. Getting my license back is never going to eliminate what I know, what I feel. I think the positive there is that it will never allow me to forget the harm that I caused myself and others, and I would never want to do that again.
Thank you for being candid and frank. It's appreciated. I have no further questions.
All right, thank you. So, Mr. Ruffalo, any questions?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for attending today. I have two questions which are sort of unrelated, and I'll ask them both, and you can answer them in any order that you'd like. So I don't want to go back and relitigate what happened, but I am interested in if what you did for the rehabilitation processes the judge alluded to early on. Did you take any specific courses? Did you enroll in anything? Did you seek any sort of counseling that would be specific to the rehabilitation process? That's question number one. And question number two, in the interim, since the conviction, have you done any volunteer work in your community to indicate to the board that this was sort of a way of paying back and giving of yourself back to your own community? Any volunteer work, Rotary clubs, schools, anything like that, any volunteer work that you might have done? So do you understand the two parts?
I do, sir.
Okay.
So I'll start with your second question. This past season, I drummed up the courage to apply to be an assistant coach in the Mountain View Little League system. And so, and the reason why I say the courage is because, of course, with volunteer work with children, you do go through the live scan process, which means that any sort of conviction, I'm not sure if the license revocation came up or not, but that's always been a fear. That's another fear that I've always had is just being able to participate in my kids' life, volunteering at their school, right? And so I decided to give it a go. And so I did give back, and I intend to continue to coach any sports that my kids continue to play. The first part of your question, I will not take credit for seeking third-party counseling. What I will say is that I've always been a person to internalize things. The one change that I did make is to open up and have conversations about the impact that the situation was having on me with my loved ones and trusted advisors and friends. So I'll point to internally with my wife, with my brother. These are things that in normal course I would never have brought up. I think it's probably a character flaw of mine to internalize. And it was extremely difficult, but opening it up to the CAO and the CFO and having those conversations, these aren't things that come naturally to me. So while they may not be viewed as good enough or as good as me having attended counseling, for me, it was a significant step forward to just be able to talk to somebody about it and be able to be open and honest and vulnerable.
No further questions?
All right. Ms. Thompson, any questions?
Yes, I do have one question. First, thank you for being here and taking the time to provide your testimony. I think you answered elements of this question, but I just wanted to ask it again a little more directly. If reinstated, what role or responsibility in your job would change in the day-to-day? Meaning, would there be any increased oversight, any increased approval thresholds? Does this open the door for promotion opportunities? I'd just like to understand sort of what a projection in role and responsibility would look like if reinstated.
I don't anticipate any changes in how in my involvement in accounting operations. I've already been given responsibility over our treasury function. I think that was also in the CFO's letter recommendation. To me, it's less about that. I think it's just more about professional credibility. I'll point back to the example I gave with the audit. Not having to explain why my license is revoked and have myself and the team go through a waiting game to go through that. I think it just goes back to credibility. I think that that's really my primary aim here, is trying to restore some of that.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
And my apologies, I believe I skipped over Mr. Rosenbaum. Mr. Rosenbaum, any questions?
That's quite all right. I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Tu, any questions?
No questions.
Ms. Ward, any questions?
No, my questions were already answered, but thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Zelensky, any questions?
Same here. My questions were already answered. No questions. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And I'll circle back just one time to the board as a group in case anyone else thought of any other questions. Any other questions from any board members? All right, seeing no hands or hearing no questions. Mr. O'Hara, I did mention that I'd circle back to you in case there was additional testimony you thought of that you wanted to provide. So if there is, you may provide it now, or if you believe you've provided all your testimony, that's fine too.
I do not have anything else to add.
Very good. So with that, you're excused as a witness. Thank you, of course, for your time and your attention and being here and your candor. The board very much appreciates it. So I'll take closing arguments at this time. Mr. Arthur, do you have a closing you wish to give?
No, thank you.
All right. Mr. O'Hara, your closing?
I'd just like to again thank the board, Your Honor, and Mr. Deputy Attorney General for taking the time to review my case today. Regardless of the outcome, I appreciate the opportunity.
All right, Mr. O'Hara, again, thank you very much for your time and attention and being here and your testimony. It's much appreciated. That concludes the hearing. The record's closed, the matter submitted, and we are off the record. Just one last procedural matter. The court reporter will have a form for you in just a moment after she fills it out. That's just in case you want to order a copy of today's transcript. It has that information on it for you. So if you just have a seat while she fills it out, that would be much appreciated. Again, a reminder, the board will adjourn to closed session to deliberate over your petition. So a decision won't be issued today. It will be issued sometime in the future. Okay, do you have any questions?
Understood, and thank you.
Thank you. All right, have a great day. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, we will be moving into closed session, as he mentioned, to deliberate the petition and any closed session matters. Once the closed session is complete, the CBA meeting will adjourn. Thank you.